Beach Wars 2020 is out over here in the Japanese PSO2. You would want to spam this quest because it is a seasonal quest. In this video, I'm going to cover a lot of things you might want to know or things you may not know about with this particular quest. This is a revamp compared to the other ones, and it has an ultra hard difficulty along with a bunch of good loot, which I'm going to emphasize in this video. If you want to see a certain point, you can look in the description for the time skip. Once again, just to emphasize on this is a seasonal emergency quest. It will stay for a certain time period, so you want to take advantage of it and spam this quest as many times as you can. With this particular quest though, there are 4 difficulties. You got hard, super hard, extra hard, and ultra hard. With hard difficulty, you need to be level 8 and you must complete a certain client order, either from a coffee or you had to talk to a Finn. After that, you got super hard. Super hard, you had to be level 40 and you must possess a super hard license. Most likely you get this license when you hit level 50 because that's when you start to do a bunch of super hard content. Extra hard, you had to be level 70 and you must possess a super hard license. That's not too difficult. For ultra hard difficulty, you do need to have a class at level 85, but you also have to make sure your subclass is at level 85. If you're playing one of these successor class, Hero, Phantom, and or a Twal, then you just need to have that class at level 85. You do not need to worry about a sub. But if you are playing a main and a sub, you will have to have both of them at 85. If you do not have them both at 85, you cannot do ultra hard difficulty. Before you run the emergency quest Beach Wars 2020, I advise you guys to actually do the limited quest, the Special Training Episode 6, and the Trigger variant for it. I already made videos for it because this was the 8th year anniversary limited quest. If you want to see the details about it or you want to know what you had to do in these quests, you can look in the description or upper right hand corner. The reason why you want to do the limited quest is so you can get a boost towards 2 specific quests. This is a quest linked boost. The more times you do the limited quest and you accumulate a certain amount of points, there's going to be a boost which then can be used for, guess what, Beach Wars 2020. And then the other emergency quest is Requiem of the Spectre's Grudge. That is another emergency quest that's being spammed over here in the Japanese PSO2. I will make a separate video in due time talking about it, but you would want to spam the limited quest so you can get this boost. If you want to see details on the quest linked boost, you will have to go to a quest terminal or the quest NPC. When you do that, you will see that the quest linked boost will be right underneath the description of all these various quests. So once you get onto this screen, you would want to hit the Q button. It will take you to 2 options. One of them is list of eligible quests. It will give you a breakdown on which quests you can run so you can accumulate a bunch of points in. The other one is gonna be showing the quests that will have this boost. The first option, however, will give you an information talking about how much points you can get and what it will give you. The highest is level 10. You need to accumulate 160,000 points. If you do this, you can get a rare drop rate boost of 180%, and there's a bunch of other stuff over here that I can't really read because it's in Japanese, but this will boost towards your new type drop as well, towards 15 stars, 15 star weapons and 13 star units, and it will give you a boost in terms of you doing it on ultra hard. So you will want to max this out, and you would want to do the Beach Wars 2020 and the Spectre's Grudge on ultra hard. Since we're on the topic of things you should do before you do the emergency quest, one of them will be storage space. Make sure you have a bunch of empty storage spaces so you can put all the stuff that you get from the emergency quest into there and organize it later, or turn it all in later, or hold on to it until later. This will vary depending on what you think is important and all that jazz. It's just that you are doing this 3 times. There are a lot of goodies from this quest. I advise you guys to at least take the time to organize your stuff and make sure that you have enough space, because you don't want to try to organize it when you're trying to replay this multiple times. Once again, you do this 3 times. When you do your first run and you have a bunch of items dropping, and if you don't have that space, like, you don't want to take forever to micromanage that. You want to do that beforehand, so make sure that you have a good number of empty spaces in your storages. The next thing you want to do is talk to Pudding. She's located right next to Coffee. They're at the gate area. The reason why I want to talk to Pudding is so you can get a collection file. Note that these collection files, you don't have to do them, but I advise you guys to do it because you are getting free stuff, free loot, free fodder materials, which then you can use to upgrade new materials that you get or new weapons in particular. I am going to make a separate video emphasizing on collection files, but for now I would just state that you want to go over here, talk to Pudding, get the ones that are seasonal or the first two. Usually most of the emergency quests, seasonal emergency quests, will have a collection files for them. You can see that there's two of them up here, and when it comes to these collection files, they are gonna disappear, they are gonna expire on the 1st of September. That also hints at when this seasonal emergency quest is gonna disappear. The second one is gonna be a bunch of eggs. If you are playing as a summoner or if you don't have these eggs, you can use this to your advantage. However, I would emphasize heavily on the first one instead and advise you guys to get all these weapons because these are weapons or 13-star weapons at plus 35. What you can do with these weapons is once again feed it into other weapons. So instead of using a Nox plus 30, you can use a 13-star which can easily push like a 15-star weapon from a level 20 new type grind into a level 30 new type grind just by using one of these. You can see that I already collected most of mine. Depending on certain other factors, like if you have this much collection file slots, if you already have one and you only have 2 spaces available to you, just, you know, pick this up and just do it. I mean, yeah, you can ignore it, but I would advise you guys just to pick it up because 1, it's free. 2, if you get to do the emergency quest, might as well get something out of it, like a guaranteed fixed drop, which is this thing over here. And then thirdly, once again, you can use these materials to feed into other new type weapons. This last point is going to be questionable. It's not a mandatory thing. It is an option. You have the right to wear a swimsuit or not, but obviously this point is going to emphasize on a swimsuit. With the last point as well with the collection files, once again, it is optional, but the reason why you might want to wear a swimsuit is because it does give you a PSE burst or PSE boost that will help you in terms of rare drop rate. You won't notice this right off the bat, but when you progress through the quest, you'll see that PSE level icon in the upper right hand corner. You'll see that on the screen. I'll zoom in on that. That will increase to at least level 3. That's the max number I saw. If it goes any further, let me know in the comments. But the max I've seen it at is at level 3. And you will see this if you are wearing the right outfit or if you're wearing a swimsuit. This emergency quest emphasizes on the fact that you may want to wear a swimsuit so you can get this slight boost. Is this a big boost? No. But is this a boost that can help you deal against RNG? Yes. And it's not going to hurt you if you wear a swimsuit. I mean, if you got an excuse, a reason to why your character's not wearing it, then that's on you. If you're pretty adamant about not wearing one, that is on you. But yeah, the thing is you would want to wear one. And if you're wondering if the outfit that you are wearing can give you that boost, just look for that PSE burst icon. Now, the thing is, with this little gimmick as well, this will not carry over to the other 2 runs. Understand that you can spam this roughly around 3 times. Each one of these times, you will have to increase that level and you will have to get it again. So when you first start off the quest, for example, you won't see it right off the bat. You can't actually see it in your character information. I thought it did pop up in the character information, but it did not. So as you progress through the quest, that level will increase up to 3. And once you have it to 3, then all you need to do is complete the quest. That will help you in getting your loot at the very end of the quest. So if you don't see the icon in the upper right hand corner, that means the outfit you are currently wearing will not give you said boost from the quest. I would say that anything that is a swimsuit in terms of the application and the outfit and what it is composed of will most likely be towards that. I try to find a list for the swimsuits. Now I try to find an updated new version of the swimsuit that you can use for this Beach Wars 2020, but I did not find one on the main website or on Bump. It might be buried somewhere else, I don't know. If you want to link me something that can give a list to the available costumes that are gonna give you a buff, then you can go ahead and do so. I would say that anything that is in the swimsuit scratches from previous and the current one, they will be able to give you that boost. That concludes this point talking about swimsuits. This is an optional thing. You might want to get your hands on a swimsuit and then use it when you do this emergency quest. So with this emergency quest, it's the point collecting quest. If you're not familiar with it, here's the gist of it. Pretty much you got 10 minutes to run around the map and kill everything and anything. When it comes to collecting points, you get them by killing bosses and or mobs. You got 10 minutes to do it. And the max amount of points you can get would be 9,999. But even if you are able to acquire that many points, or if you hit 9,999, as long as the timer is still rolling, or as long as the timer has a bit of time in it, you will still kill a bunch of stuff regardless of you hitting the max number. You do not end even if you hit 9,999. There is one gimmick I will have to emphasize on, and it's the barriers. Enemies, certain bosses will have barriers. These barriers have a certain rule. If you don't follow this certain rule, you're not going to do as much damage. You're not going to do your full damage. It will be nerfed to a certain degree. So if there was a boss that spawns in and they have this barrier around them, and it says within their name in that little text there, you have to fight against the enemy by shooting them in the air or something, you'll most likely see a demonstration of that on the screen right now. You would want to fight against the enemy up in the air. If you decide to stay on ground level and stay on the earth or gravity or the floor, you won't be able to do true damage to it. So you will want to follow these little gimmicks. In terms of what you are actually fighting against, I would just emphasize heavily on the fact that you're fighting against a bunch of aquatic creatures from the seabed, the coast area, I think Walpole is one of them, or whatever the water area is, and then a bunch of darkers. Now, there are exceptions like Tokyo bosses popping up here and there, like the train boss, and then there's also the Statue of Liberty boss, and then there's also the some other ones like the Gold and Night Gear. If you don't know who Night Gear is, don't worry about it, but yeah, there was a time where he did spawn in, but pretty much just make sure you have decent equipment and you'll be fine. Let us get into the juicy bits and talk about loot. Now, let me talk about the 15 stars first. There's a lot of 15 stars that can drop from this quest, and some of these 15 stars you need so you can get a Puras upgrade. Most of these 15 stars can actually be used so you can go for a Puras weapon. If you don't know what a Puras and or Stil weapon is, I did make a video talking about it. If you don't see it, it is a work in progress. You can look in the upper right hand corner or in the description. But most of these 15 stars you would want to grab because, once again, they can help you make a Puras weapon, which then you can go for a Stil weapon. In terms of abilities, augments, and affixes, one of them is crack. That is a good one. You know I'm not referring to the drug, but it's kind of like a drug because of how accessible it is and how easy it is to acquire and the usage of it compared to like a returner ability. But understand that crack is just the more HP defense heavy variant of a returner ability. It is good in terms of using it as an all-rounder stat. So you would want to stockpile on those and use those to your advantage in any way, shape, and form. The other augment ability affix that drop from this quest are sentence abilities. Now, I didn't really make a video talk about it, but I will in due time because of the fact they're dropping. When it comes to sentence abilities, they are just a better version of the flints. It's just that they also got a sentence triple, which emphasized heavily more on the other three attacks, and I think it gives a bit of PP as well. But the thing is, they are dropping like candy over here in this seasonal emergency quest. You'll want to stockpile on those, especially if you don't have a bunch of abilities, or maybe you want to use them or sell them, do whatever you want with them. They do drop those sentence abilities, but guess what? They also drop the receptor for it, so you can use that to your advantage. I already made a video talking about receptors, so go ahead and check that video out in the upper right hand corner in the description. The next ability I will talk about will be Emperor Embrace. Now, this is something you want to use when you do new type grinding. You want to leave the abilities as they are. You want to leave them on low rarity weapons. You can obviously transfer this. It is transferable at 100% as long as you don't upslot. But the thing is, with the Emperor Embrace, it does give experience if you use anything. Like, let's say if I decide to use this weapon and feed it into another weapon, it will give a 90 experience when you go about new type grinding. I already made a video talking about this. I might need to do a redo for my one video talking about how to feed these into a 12 star or specifically your Nox weapon. But you would want to use these Emperor Embrace. You want to hoard them and use them. For the unit drops, I don't know if a 13 star unit does drop. If it does, then you might want to hold on to it, stare at what it has for SAF, or stare at the S-class booties that might be on it. Other than that, it does drop a bunch of 11 star units, which have a bunch of abilities that I already mentioned. And then there's also the material stuff that drops. Now, before I go into details about that, if I left something out, or if you want to know a bit more in terms of what the quest drops, you might want to check the Japanese website for that. I will have a link in the description, although I can't even read it myself because I can't understand Japanese. They added some little snippets and explained what they added here and there, so you can give that a look. If you want, you can look in the description for that. So you'll see me put up a screenshot of the material items that drop. They do have the weapon badges. If you need to get a novel, for example, if you're a returning player, you need to get a couple items here and there, you can go to the weapon badge shop and use that to your advantage. Not only that, they do drop ultimate boosters. You will need these so you can do future upgrades for a lot of the 15 stars that you can get from Zig, or most of the ones that you would want to aim for, like the Liberate weapon series and or the Puras and Stil. Specifically more on the Puras. The Stil ones, they are quite specific and you need to get modules for that, which you can only get from the limited quest and from the Vibe quest. And once again, I will have a video talking about how to make your Puras and Stil weapon. So yeah, there's other things as well. They do drop a couple of fragments, but it's only like one of them per run or something. I don't know, it's RNG. Some of these are RNG based, so if you don't get an ultimate booster, that's just RNG. You might get one of them, you might get two of them on a run, you might get three of them if you're lucky. It's just that you're dealing with random number generators here and there. So yeah, that's it for this quest. So you get to see me do one run of this. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put it down below. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
ポケットに一つ詰めたら 君を見つけ出す空の上に空が暗くても冷たい雨が止まなくても君が待つのならいつか僕らは出会うだろうそれからまた次の街へ目連れて行って目連れて行って 過去も全部君に見せてあげるよ。この恋は今日も二つ抜いて愛しき君を探